So, it was recently officially announced that Piatyhatki had been liberated. It would seem that this is a small village of 300 people, from the liberation of which it would be strange to make an achievement, but this is not quite so. Or more precisely, not at all. The fact is that Piatyhatki is located directly on the Highway 0812 leading through the M18 to Vasilivka. Vasilivka itself is part of the supporting triangle of the occupants in the Zaporizhia region Vasilivka-Tokmak-Melitopol. That is, it opens the way to one of the main peaks of the occupants' defense. This village played an important role in providing Russian occupiers and was a base on this part of their first line of defense. The importance of the village is evidenced by the fact that it, as well as Robotin and Novopokrovka, were strongholds in the plans of the Russian offensive on Zaporizhia at the beginning of this year. In fact, the liberation of this village indicates the wedging of the Ukrainian forces into the line of defense of the Russian troops and the prospect of covering a number of separate areas without direct contact, with the creation of a threat of encirclement to the occupants, by squeezing them out. That is, dozens of square kilometers, or even more. And the important point. The village was liberated a little earlier than it was officially announced, and it is correct. The news we are learning about today happened the day before yesterday. I would also like to summarize what the situation on the front, or rather the beginning of the summer campaign, looks like. It began with Ukrainian troops methodically knocking out enemy artillery. At one point the emphasis was on destroying air defense systems. Since June 10 the Russian air defense is hiding, probably the Ukrainian side has achieved success. Having thinned out the air defense system, Ukrainian troops came into close contact with the enemy, opened a large array of artillery, and MRLS and mowed it. As a consequence, Russian forces had a gap in both the air defense system and artillery support. They have tried to plug this gap with mobile strike weapons. They used helicopters and multiple rocket launchers brought in from the reserves. Russian helicopters began to appear more frequently in the range of Ukrainian air defense and in the reports of the AFU General Staff. If the helicopter losses continue, it means that the Russians have really sensitive and irreplaceable losses in artillery. And every helicopter shot down is very painful for the Russian army, because the loss is also irreparable. The trends are visible and very clear. We don't know the command's plans. So we can't assess whether everything is going according to plan or not. But the numbers of destroyed enemy equipment show that even without radical changes on the map, the enemy's defenses are being seriously eroded. The means to meet the next wave of AFU activity becomes much smaller. Moreover, incidents at Russian ammunition depots have become more frequent. Russian special forces in the trenches may for some time take high-precision projectiles on their heads, but this cannot continue indefinitely. Ukrainian troops are now doing the toughest job in unimaginably difficult conditions. The Russians have built an epic defense system, and the Ukrainian General Staff is right now picking up the keys to that defense. The result is visible. It is already forcing the enemy to react. The Ukrainian troops have the initiative and are playing the game, while the Russian army mines the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, but that's another story. I hope I won't have to bring this up in the future.